Hi, I'm Stan Bellows, Barbara's husband, and I'm going to show you how we put together our grow light package for our tower garden. Now, one thing to point out right at the outset, we have the extension kit, so we have 2 extra levels on the tower garden. Accordingly, we wanted our grow lights to go up to cover those 2 levels. So our measurements that I'm going to show you are a little bit different than what comes with the instructions in the box. So with that, let's get started. You're going to get your big cardboard box, and it's going to have 4 of these units in there, 1 for each grow light. Also included in the box at one end or the other, so if it's 50-50 chance on which end you open, is a set of instructions, and more importantly, because these instructions are basically repeating those, are some zip ties, and you're going to need the zip ties. So basically what we have is this box. Excuse me while I get some stuff. And I'm going to get, we've already opened our box, so we have our zip ties. You're going to need 2 per package. Some pliers. You may need some sort of a measuring tape or ruler or measuring device. And then, I've got a Sharpie around here somewhere. Pardon me. Sharpie. Go ahead and open your box. Pull everything out. You got a reflector. You've actually got your light, and that is all that is in this part of the box. I think. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, go ahead and take the plastic covering off the reflector. And the instructions refer to a film on the shiny side of the reflector. And I assume that may come on some, but ours doesn't have it, so there's nothing to peel off. This is obviously the shiny side is where the bulb is going to go. The back side is where you're going to actually attach the light. In the actual light package here, you're going to have a power cord. I can get that out of here. A power cord. And you're going to have a little baggie. It's got 2 metal clips, 2 screws, 2 plastic anchors. You're not going to need the screws or the anchors. You're only going to need the metal clips. You're going to also have this short extension. That you don't need. It's actually for connecting the lights. I believe it would be called in series. And I think I made a slight error. I think there is one more thing in this, but you also don't need it. There's a package of metal fittings and hooks and whatnot that you don't need. So basically you've got your reflector, your power cord, your baggie with the clips, and your light fixture. Go ahead and take the bulb out of the light fixture because as we work with it, we don't want to break the bulb. Now what I do, according to how we're trying to mount ours a little bit higher, is instead of taking a measurement to start, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just set my light in. I've got it to the side because I just want to mark it at this point. I'm not actually trying to attach anything. And what I'm going to do is mark where I want to put my first clip. And doing that, I should point out that I want, there's an end with a Hydrofarm logo labeling on it. We are actually going to have the other end at the bottom because that's where you're going to be plugging in your power cord. And that's where I want this first mark to be as well. So, and the reason I'm doing it, marking it where this is so the clip we put on the light package doesn't get in the way to the clip that's on the reflector. So I'm going to go ahead and open my little plastic baggie, set aside the screws and the anchors because as I said we don't need them. And then I'm going to come closer to the camera. I'm going to mount this clip to the back side, the bulb being the front side, bulb side being the front side, opposite is the back side. And I'm going to mark it right where I made that or I clip it right where I made that little mark. You can slide these things a little bit. It kind of hurts your hands, so be careful. But if you mark it correctly, you shouldn't have to slide it at all. Then on the other side, the side with the Hydrofarm label, I'm going to go ahead and measure 14 1/2 inches. And the reason it's 14 1/2 inches, as you'll see, is because that'll measure up with the top rung of the tomato cage. So then, after I put that clip on, I'm going to come closer to the camera again to show you how I put on the zip ties. So I go ahead and put this clip on right where I made that mark, 14 1/2 inches. Snaps on there. Now, what I'm going to do, and I'm going to get pliers, because it can be kind of tough, but you may or may not need them. We're going to put the receiver side of the zip tie to the outside, okay? And what we want is one side of the zip tie has teeth. You can kind of hear them if you run your fingernail across, okay? But you'll feel them. And the other side is smooth. We want the teeth side up. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in underneath the clip. I'm kind of moving it to the side because the clip's on there pretty darn tight. And if you move it right over the hole, which is where it's going to end up, it's tighter there, and you may end up scraping the teeth off, which you don't want to do. You can grab the other side and pull it through. If it's a little too tight, use your pliers and pull it through. Try not to scrape the teeth any more than you absolutely have to. Leave, I don't know, about an inch or so. Don't pull it all the way tight. And then do the other side the same way. Again, leaving the receiver side of the zip tie to the outside. Just is a little easier to attach that way. Teeth up. And go ahead and slide that through. Like I said, it's a pretty tight fit, so it can scrape off some of the plastic on the zip tie, and if it scrapes the teeth off, you just won't get as secure a fit. So again, if you run it to the side, it's not quite as tight on the side as it is right under the hole. But once you get it in there, you're going to want to go ahead and center it right on the hole. Both sides. Center right on the hole. Okay, now we're going to attach the light fixture excuse me, to the reflector. And as I said, if you pre-measured this thing, your clip with the zip tie under it should go right above, ultimately above, the clip that holds it to the reflector. Okay, and then you can turn it over. You can put your bulb back in at this point in time. And you know what I'm going to do before we put the bulb in? I'm going to go ahead and put the power cord on, because sometimes this is a pretty tight fit. There's only one side it can go on. It's the side opposite the logo, because the way the plug is formed, the other side it wouldn't fit. There's a V-groove. So the V groove, it goes to the corresponding protrusion on the other side, and just plugs into the bottom. It's a good tight fit, which is good, so it won't come loose when you have it hooked up to your garden. Go ahead and put the bulb in. You just set it in, set the prongs in the slot, give it a 1/4 twist, and it snaps into place. So now you can come over to your garden. I'll turn this a little bit so you can see more clearly what I'm doing. We put ours right adjacent to the posts that are on your tomato cage. So go ahead and cord down, of course, power cord down. And if we've measured properly, 14 1/2 inches should put your clip with the zip tie right on that top rung of the tomato cage. Go ahead and attach your zip tie to that top rung. Tighten it down good and snug. Do the same thing with the bottom. Nice and snug. Now with the zip ties, realize that you can cut the tails off. When you do, you can't get them down inside the receiver, so you're going to leave a little bit of a sharp edge, and it's really stout plastic, so they can actually cut you. If you're going to cut them off, you can leave them just like this, it's not going to hurt anything. If you're going to cut them off, take an emery file, nail file or something like that, and kind of grind them down a little bit so that they don't have that sharp edge. Go ahead and plug your cord into your timer. And when you turn it on, it should have light.